Everyone in Howl's moving castle is lying. Names are hidden, faces are disguised, even hearts are concealed. Howl changes his hair, Sophie changes her age, the witch clutches at what isn't hers. Every character wears some kind of mask, and yet, through all these illusions, one thing keeps breaking through: love. Not just romance, but the force that sees the truth beneath appearances. This is the Ghibli lesson about love, how it pierces pretense and brings contradictions together. In Howl's moving castle, love is everywhere, but it rarely looks the same twice. When most people think of the film, they remember the romance between Sophie and Howl. But Miyazaki shows us that love is much bigger than that. There's protective love, like the instinct to shelter someone from danger even when it costs you your own safety. There's possessive love, a darker side, when affection becomes control and desire turns into obsession. We see familial love, not bound by blood, but created through care. People who were strangers slowly becoming a family under one roof. There's also the guiding love between a master and a pupil, the way a teacher's influence can shape a student's path, for better or worse. And then there's patriotic love, devotion to a country or a cause that pushes people into war, reminding us that even loyalty can be dangerous when twisted. These many shades of love form the foundation of the story. To explore them, we'll begin with Howl, and we'll end with Sophie. In Howl's moving castle, contradiction isn't treated as a problem. It's treated as normal. People can be brave and cowardly, selfish and kind, monster and human all at once. Rather than asking us to choose which version is true, Ghibli suggests that we are many things at the same time. And the force that holds these contradictions together is love. The best metaphor for this is the castle itself. Everywhere and nowhere, a fortress and a home, a pile of junk and a miracle of magic. Howl is one of the most fascinating figures in the film because he's constantly performing different versions of himself. In one town, he's Pendragon, in another, he's Jenkins, and to Sophie, he's simply Howl. Even his hair shifts colors, almost like another mask he puts on. These names, appearances, and roles aren't meaningless. They're his way of staying free in a world that always wants to pin him down. And everyone really does want a piece of him. The king demands that he fight in a war he doesn't believe in. Madame Suleiman schemes to control his powers and shape him into her successor. The Witch of the Waste burns with desire and possession, claiming his heart as her own. And Calcifer, his fiery companion, literally holds Howl's heart in exchange for power. Each of these figures represents a different kind of claim, pulling him in opposite directions, demanding he become something for them. It's no wonder then that he's accused of having no heart. He's at once seen as a coward, a monster, and a hero. But the truth is that Howl is all of these things. He is contradiction embodied, an angel and a demon, both free and trapped at the same time. The castle itself is more than a backdrop. It's a mirror of Howl's soul. On the outside, it looks like a patched-together machine, groaning and rattling as it trudges across the wastes. Yet inside, it transforms into a cozy hearth, a place where strangers slowly become a family. The door dial spins, opening to 4 different locations at once, as if the castle can exist everywhere and nowhere depending on who opens it. It's a fortress strong enough to hold off the most powerful wizards in the land, and at the same time it's just a fragile pile of junk barely held together. These contradictions aren't mistakes. They are the point. The castle shows us that the whole is made from every part, no matter how opposite they may seem. Not all love in Howl's moving castle is kind. The Witch of the Waste makes this painfully clear from the very beginning. Her note to Howl reads, "He who catches a falling star, your heart shall be mine." It's a declaration of desire, but not the healthy kind. She doesn't want to know or nurture him. She wants to possess him, both romantically and literally by taking his heart. When we see her clutch it with desperate hands later in the film, it's the perfect symbol of love that consumes rather than supports. Madame Suleiman represents another shade of the same idea. She doesn't chase Howl with longing, but with ambition. To her, he is a weapon, a tool to be bent toward the throne. She fills her palace with eerie replicas of him, little boys molded in his image, as if manufacturing versions of the wizard will give her the control she craves. Both women embody love, twisted into something toxic. Love that uses, love that owns, love that sees a person not as they are, but as an object to be controlled. In contrast to the toxic forms of love, Sophie offers something far more rare, a love that sees the whole person. She doesn't turn away from Howl's flaws, she names them clearly. To Madame Suleiman, she declares that he's cowardly, selfish, and unpredictable, but also straight as an arrow, someone who simply wants to be free. Sophie doesn't try to mold him into an ideal. She accepts that he can be many things at once, and that none of those contradictions cancel out the others. Later, when she confronts Howl in his darkest moment, she tells him simply, "I don't care if you're a monster. I love you." It's a love that pierces past appearances and reputations, and embraces even the sides of him that frighten others. And for Howl, this is transformative. It's Sophie's presence that gives him courage, the strength to stop running and finally face his responsibilities. He tells her, "I finally found someone I want to protect." Out of love is born a new sense of responsibility, proving that real love doesn't demand perfection. It integrates the whole and inspires growth. The Witch of the Waste is introduced as a predator, chasing Howl with obsession and cursing Sophie out of jealousy. But as the story unfolds, she becomes one of the clearest examples of duality in the film. At first, she appears glamorous, proud, and full of menace. After Suleiman strips away her power, she is suddenly revealed as a frail, almost helpless old woman. She shifts constantly between being lucid and feeble, protective and destructive. And yet, even in her weakened state, moments of love bring her clarity. When Suleiman sends a spying creature into the castle, it's the witch who instantly senses the threat, destroys it, and warns the others. Later, when she stubbornly clings to Howl's heart, it looks like her possessive desire will doom everyone. But Sophie responds with patience and tenderness. She doesn't rip the heart away. She embraces the witch, shows her warmth, and simply asks again. That love is enough to break through. In a rare moment of lucidity, the witch returns the heart, and with that gesture, she moves from predator to family. Markle, Howl's young apprentice, shows another way love reshapes identity. Most of the time, he hides behind an old man disguise, complete with a gravelly voice. He does this so customers will take him seriously, believing no one would respect a wizard's apprentice who still looks like a child. But around Sophie, he doesn't need the act. She quickly becomes the one person with whom he can drop the mask. Late in the film, when he clings to her and asks, "Are we a family?" Sophie answers without hesitation, "Yes, we're a family." That small exchange says everything. Love gives Markle what he's been missing. Not just guidance, but a safe place where he can be seen exactly as he is. Even the side characters in Howl's Moving Castle reflect how love reshapes identity. Take Calcifer. He's introduced as a demon of fire, bound to Howl's heart, complaining constantly about being trapped. He's both jailer and friend, selfish yet loyal. What finally frees him isn't brute force, but Sophie's trust. She risks everything to return Howl's heart. And Calcifer, once released, chooses to come back. Not because of a contract, but because he wants to stay with this strange little family. Then there's Heen, Suleiman's shaggy dog spy. He begins as a tool of surveillance, but once Sophie shows him care, he quietly switches sides. His loyalty is no longer to Suleiman, but to the household that accepts him. And finally, Turnip Head, the enchanted scarecrow who helps at every turn. His curse is broken with a kiss, revealing a lost prince. His parting words are striking. A fickle heart is the only constant in this world. That may be true for the witch who instantly adores him, but not for Sophie and Howl. Their love proves steady, a counterpoint to all the fickleness around them. Sophie's journey is the heart of Howl's Moving Castle, and it begins with self-doubt. She's a young woman who already feels old, calling herself plain and unworthy. When the witch curses her into an old body, something paradoxical happens. Sophie actually becomes freer. No longer worried about beauty or expectations, she grows bolder, more confident, even mischievous. Her shifting appearance is one of the film's most fascinating motifs. When Sophie feels loved or needed, she looks younger. When she's weighed down by self-criticism, she appears older again. In the rain, as she breaks down in tears, we see her face smooth, her back straighten, as if her spirit refuses to be contained by age. Later, when she praises Howl with unshakable love, her younger self shines through completely. Age in this film isn't fixed. It bends to emotion, to love, to self-regard. Her power is also framed through acts that might seem ordinary: cooking breakfast on Calcifer's flames, cleaning the filthy castle, guiding Markle, even mothering the Witch of the Waste. But these aren't small gestures. They transform a ramshackle fortress into a home, and strangers into a family. In the original novel, Sophie is literally a witch, able to speak life into objects. But Miyazaki makes a profound change. In the film, her power isn't spells. It's love, and that love is enough to heal a broken heart, break a curse, and even end a war. Sophie shows us that magic doesn't have to look supernatural. Sometimes the most extraordinary force in the world is simply the act of caring deeply for others and learning to care for yourself. The lesson of Howl's Moving Castle is that we are never just one thing. We're not fixed selves, but contradictions in constant motion, brave and afraid, selfish and generous, child and adult all at once. That's not a flaw, it's what makes us human. What ties those pieces together is love. Love for others, and perhaps most importantly, love for ourselves. It's the force that gives us the courage to carry responsibility without losing freedom, to accept every part of who we are, and still move forward together. If this video resonated with you, share it with someone who might need a gentler definition of love. I'd also love to hear from you. Leave a comment telling me which character's mask felt most like your own. And if you'd like to dive deeper into Ghibli, my next video will explore the ethics of war in Miyazaki's films and how they connect to our world today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.